Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's start. My name is Amara Bennett. I was 18 years old the night my father decided my future was not mine to choose. No daughter of mine is leaving this house to chase fantasies, he said. Then he tore my acceptance letter in half at the dinner table. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a clean, controlled rip, the kind you make when opening junk mail. He did it in front of my grandmother, my older cousin, and my 16-year-old brother. That letter was from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. A partial scholarship, 12 months of planning in silence, essays written at 1 a.m. with my bedroom door locked, recommendation letters smuggled through a guidance office like contraband. A teacher who told me, in a whisper, "You are capable of more than survival." 10 years of cooking his meals, 10 years of folding his shirts, 10 years of shrinking my voice until it fit inside his expectations. And he reduced it to paper scraps next to his plate of roast beef. I thought that was the worst moment of my life. It wasn't, because exactly 30 seconds later, my grandmother did something that dismantled 24 years of my father's authority. And it began with a document he never thought to look for. The house on Briarwood Lane looked like stability: red brick, black shutters, two-car garage, neatly edged lawn. Every Saturday at precisely 7:10 a.m., my father, Thomas Bennett, mowed in perfect stripes. He didn't enjoy it. He performed it. He wanted witnesses. Inside the house, everything ran on precision. The thermostat never rose above 63 degrees in winter because comfort builds weakness. The television remote belonged to his recliner. His recliner belonged to the living room. The living room belonged to him. Dinner was served at 6 sharp, not 6:03, 6. If the salt wasn't near his hand, silence fell like punishment. The dining table, solid oak, scar on the left corner, faint water ring near my seat, had been in that house longer than I had. My grandmother bought it 24 years ago when she furnished the place, but my father called it his table. My house. My rules. He said it like scripture. I was 12 the first time he handed me a spatula and told me to make breakfast. I burned the eggs. He didn't yell. He just stared and said, "Your mother never needed instructions." So I stopped needing them. Eggs, pancakes, roasted vegetables, pot roast, garlic mashed potatoes, the exact rotation he preferred. I learned the rhythm of the washing machine, the smell of over-bleached towels, the weight of expectation. I packed my brother Caleb's lunches, walked him to the bus stop, signed his field trip forms when my father forgot. I wasn't a daughter. I was infrastructure. I just didn't know the word yet. My mother's name was Lillian. She had warm brown skin, soft dimples, and a laugh that lifted ceilings. I remember her hands most, always moving, always warm. I was 10 when she died. Pancreatic cancer. Aggressive. Swift. She was gone before spring. After the funeral, my father removed her in layers. First the framed photographs, then the mentions, then the permission to grieve. "No crying at the table," he said once, when my fork froze mid-air. "Your mother had big ideas too," he told me when I said I wanted to study biomedical engineering. "Dreams don't pay bills." I later learned, from my grandmother, in a sentence she nearly swallowed, that he once refused to let my mother finish graduate school. "She chose family," he had said. "No," she complied. "There's a difference." My routine became mechanical. 5 a.m. alarm, 5:20 coffee brewing, 5:30 breakfast started. 6:15, Caleb's lunch packed. 6:25, my father's lunch packed, because apparently adulthood does not include assembling a sandwich. 7 o'clock bus stop, 3:45 home, dishes, laundry, vacuuming, groceries, dinner, 8:45 homework, midnight sleep, no clubs, no sports, no sleepovers. You have responsibilities, he'd say. I was 18 with $19 hidden in a shoebox. Why didn't I leave? Because fear is efficient. Because he once said, calmly, push me, and you won't see your grandmother again. And she was the only person who still looked at me like I was someone, not something. So I stayed, until I didn't. Here's what he didn't know. I applied to college, in secret. It started with Mr. Dalton, my physics teacher. Late 40s, sharp mind, patient eyes. He noticed I never stayed after school, never joined study groups, never breathed fully. One afternoon, he closed his classroom door and asked, Amara, what do you want? No one had asked me that. He helped me with applications, found fee waivers, edited essays during lunch. We used the school's mailing address because my father checked the mailbox daily, but I told my grandmother, Evelyn Carter. She said, use my address too. She received the letter first. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Accepted. $16,000 scholarship. Not everything, but enough to breathe. She told me to announce it at Sunday dinner. I'll be there, she said. What I didn't know was that my father had already arranged a job for me at a local auto parts warehouse, 35 hours a week. He'd signed preliminary paperwork himself. He wasn't just limiting me, he was sealing exits. Sunday arrived. The table was set. Roast beef, potatoes, green beans. My grandmother arrived in a charcoal wool coat and placed her structured leather handbag beside her chair. My father was cheerful. That was the first warning. After everyone had taken their first bite, I slid the envelope onto the table. Dad, I said, I was accepted to UNC with a scholarship. He read slowly. His jaw tightened. He tore it once, twice, 4 pieces. He dropped them beside his fork. No daughter of mine is leaving, he said evenly. You're staying. Then he added, I already contacted admissions to withdraw you. They said they need your signature. He looked at me. You'll sign tonight. He wanted me to erase myself publicly. That was his victory condition. My grandmother remained still. I counted. 5 seconds. 10. The clock ticked. 15. Caleb stared at the torn paper. 20. My cousin gripped her glass. 30. My grandmother folded her napkin carefully and set it beside her plate. Then she stood. She put on her coat. Where are you going? My father asked. She looked at him directly. Pack her bags. He laughed. With what money? She opened her handbag and placed a folder on the table. Inside wasn't just a deed. It was a trust. Established 24 years ago. The Briarwood Property Trust. Sole trustee. Evelyn Carter. Primary beneficiary. Amara Bennett, upon acceptance to an accredited university. My father's name appeared nowhere. This house, she said calmly, has always been protected. I allowed you to live here while you rebuilt your life. But ownership and occupancy are not the same thing. His smile thinned. You'd throw me out. I'm giving you a choice, she replied. Amara attends UNC this fall. I release the trust's housing provisions to you. You continue living here under agreement. She paused. Or I enforce the trust as written, which includes vacating the property within 60 days. Silence rearranged the room. For 24 years, he ruled a kingdom built on assumptions, on intimidation. On paper, he never read. He argued about utilities, maintenance, sweat equity. She didn't blink. Finally, he reached for guilt. You'd take family to court? She met his gaze. You mistook my kindness for weakness. The air shifted. Not loudly, not violently, but permanently. 3 months later, I stood on campus at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with 2 suitcases and a scholarship letter reprinted by admissions. My grandmother paid the deposit. My father did not come. He did not call. Control does not always end in explosions. Sometimes it ends in documentation, in witnesses, in one person deciding the silence is over. I once thought the worst sound in the world was paper tearing. It wasn't. The worst sound was the quiet part of me that believed he was right. The best sound. A chair sliding back, a woman standing up, and a future that, for the first time, did not ask permission.